Hey, folks, Tito Jeff Thidoff here with the Black and Gold Blitz. Thanks for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at ThitHappens, where you can find me, fanstreamsports.com. Check that out as well. It's a new updated website, all kinds of great content there. And go to the FanStream Sports Facebook page. Let's subscribe to all the stuff we do. Always great new content coming out. We're adding new shows all the time to the FanStream Sports family, powered by DSP Media. All right, Steelers going to win 24-21 over the Minnesota Vikings over in Ireland. And I didn't know how exactly the first four games would go, but I was hoping for 3-1. I wanted the Steelers to be 3-1 before the bye week, which is upcoming. So Steelers win 24-21. Wasn't the prettiest of games. It got pretty hairy down the stretch. We'll talk about that in a minute. But nonetheless, look, I've been saying since the preseason, and I said it after week one and even week two, I said that I thought that the Steelers had an elite defense, potentially a best defense in the NFL. And the first two games didn't show that. The last two games were much better. The game against New England, they forced 5 turnovers in that game. I don't even say maybe New England caused a couple of their own. But then with this game against the Vikings, I think that's 7 sacks, a couple of interceptions. They look good. The defense is now playing the way I expected the defense to play. That is what is going to carry this team. For this team to compete for a playoff win, they need to have the same kind of formula Pittsburgh had the first time Roethlisberger was the quarterback when they went to the Super Bowl. That team was built on a ground and pound kind of thing, mistake-free offense, and an elite defense. And that's what this team needs to be. Aaron Rodgers can turn back the clock a little bit, but not 5 years turn back. So game manager. And you saw it. Look, you look at the stats, it says 80-yard touchdown pass, DK Metcalf. It wasn't an 80-yard touchdown pass. It was a pass that DK Metcalf caught and went the rest of the way for the majority of the 80 yards. That's what this offense is going to be. That's how it's going to be effective. I have been very critical of Kenneth Gainwell, saying that I don't want him as the number one back. Jaylen Warren, last minute, comes out. He's inactive. Gainwell stepped in and did a great job. He looked better than I expected him to look. I will sit here and eat crow, say I'm wrong, all those kinds of things. Kenneth Gainwell looked damn good against that Minnesota Vikings team in Ireland. And even Caleb Johnson getting some touches in there as well. I love the fact that Caleb Johnson got some extended work and played pretty mistake-free. Maybe completely mistake-free, now I'm saying it out loud, against Minnesota. So that's a good sign. Steelers missing their best and starting running back and still had a great ground game. That means the offensive line played better, which they did. Broderick Jones looked better, which is great. That's a great sign right there. The key, though, really, this team. So, yeah, the offensively, Rodgers, his stats were inflated by the 80-yard touchdown pass. It was like a 15-yard pass. It turned to an 80-yard pass. Nonetheless, his stats are somewhat inflated by that, but still, he did a very good job. Another thing I liked, down the stretch, the Steelers have got a 4th and goal from like the 2-yard line it was late in the game with the 24-14 lead. And instead of kicking first they sent the field goal team out, and Rodgers waved them back and wanted to wave them back. And then the Steelers call timeout, and Rodgers convinces Mike Tomlin, hey, we should go for this. They go for it. They don't get it. Stopped at the 1. What I like about it, though, is the fact that Rodgers and Tomlin on the same kind of page. They talked about it. They did it. It was a situation where it could have backfired, and it damn near did, because they got the long pass, like an 82-yard pass they threw. Wouldn't 82 yards again, but like a long pass, Jordan Addison from Minnesota, got them down close to the goal line. They ended up scoring a touchdown. But it was a huge defensive play by Pittsburgh to catch Addison and force the Vikings to run some more time off the clock when they were out of timeouts. And so it hurt, but the Steelers nonetheless were able to force Minnesota to use some time and end up with a 24-21 lead, force Minnesota to an onside kick, which obviously did not work. So the Steelers played a very good game defensively. They didn't give up 21 points. I mean, I guess they did, but really, I don't count that last touchdown because of that kind of a fluky play where Addison got all those yards. Nonetheless, this Steelers team, 3-1. Bengals are 2-1 as I'm recording this. They play tonight on a Monday here. They play at Denver. I don't expect the Bengals to win it. Even if they do, I'm not considering the Bengals to be. Look, the Bengals and Browns are not going to compete for the AFC North title. It's the Steelers and the Ravens. So whatever the Bengals do is whatever the Bengals do. They could be 3-1, could be 2-2. The Browns are 1-3, and surprisingly, the Ravens are 1-3. Get back to that in a moment. This defense, though, they've got a game coming out after the bye. They're going to play the Browns and then the Bengals. Got to win both those. Get to 5-1 on the season. If they can capture both of those games, they get to 5-1. Then they host the Packers. That's going to be tough. They host the Colts. Colts looked more mortal yesterday. They have all season long. Then they're at the Chargers, host the Bengals. They're at the Bears. There's some wins in there. But if they can somehow get to 5-1, being the Browns and Bengals, look, I got to believe 9 wins is playoffs. I think 11 wins might be division. The fact they are now 3-1, Ravens 1-3, Steelers with a 2-game lead in this division. The defense is going to have to carry them. And the defense, look, they swarmed Carson Wentz and the Vikings in that game. Wentz never looked comfortable, kept grabbing his rib. It was a fantastic performance. It was a textbook performance by this Steelers defense. So, Rodgers, Gainwell, Metcalf all look good. Watt looked good. Look, the whole defensive line, the linebackers, Patrick Queen, big games for all of them all around. The defensive backs did a fantastic job other than that one long play to Addison. So, and the special teams is still the special teams. They do a good job there. Boswell's one of the best kickers in the NFL. And so things are going in the right way for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3-1 right now. I hope that 3 weeks from now, we're talking about a 5-1 Pittsburgh Steelers team. Who knows what the Ravens will be? The Ravens right now sitting on 1-3, and I want to get their schedule here while I'm talking here. The Ravens, who the Steelers will close out the season with, but Ravens had a tough loss in Kansas City, so they've got the Falcons coming up. Then they're hosting they don't host the Falcons. They host the Texans, the Rams, and the Bears. 3 consecutive home games for the Ravens, all very winnable games. That should get them to 4-3. But if the Steelers are sitting there at 5-2 after those games, that'd be fine. Not a really tough schedule for the Ravens. They do have to play. They host Steelers on December 7th, and they close out the season at the Packers, at the Steelers. So it's the Ravens and Steelers for the AFC North, and I don't expect the Bengals, no matter what happens with Joe Burrow, I don't expect the Bengals or the Browns to be competing for the title. I think it's down to Steelers and Ravens. I think both teams make the playoffs. All right, folks, that's it for the Black and Gold Daily Blitz. I'm Tito, Jeff Didoff, at It Happens, where you can find me. Make sure you go to our website, fanstreetsports.com. Make sure you download the app. It's a free app, Apple and Android users. And I will quote a comedian who once said, if you like us, tell your friends. If your friends don't like us, find new friends. That's it for now. Black and Gold Blitz. I'm Tito on Fan Street Sports, powered by DSP Media.